For those times when life has you rattled and you find yourself needing to catch your breath, what do you do? May I suggest you look up and regulate yourself with the anchor of a pause. Hi, neighbor. I would like to welcome you to another unplugged episode of Anchors of Encouragement. My name is Tim Maudlin, husband, adoptive parent, disciple of Christ, and ambassador of encouragement. I'm coming to you today from my indoor studio. I want this episode to be as noise-free as possible. You'll understand why in just a moment. Today I want to share a story with you about two celestial events I was able to witness in less than a week. Before I get to that story, let me set it up with something that happened to me several years ago. I was walking across my backyard, the same backyard I record a lot of these outdoor episodes in. I was walking across my backyard to my neighbor's house. It was nighttime in the winter. I remember something caught my attention out of the corner of my eye. When I looked up in the sky, I saw the most brilliant green color I had ever seen. At first, I didn't realize what I was looking at. And then it dawned on me. These were the northern lights. I was shocked. I live in southern Indiana. As far as I knew, the northern lights are never visible this far south, but there they were. I went ahead to my neighbor's house and told him what I was looking at, but when I went back outside, they were gone. I'll never forget that brilliant green color dancing in the sky. I thought that would be the last time I would ever see them in Indiana. Until last week. The forecasters were saying conditions were going to be right for the northern lights to be visible again this year. I say again because earlier this year, the northern lights had been visible not only in Indiana, but Kentucky, Tennessee, and as far south as Alabama. I missed that opportunity because I didn't hear the forecast. But tonight, the conditions were right again, and they should be visible. I had made plans to go to a local church and hear my friend David speak this week. And David is one of my anchors of encouragement. He's been on the podcast before. He was holding a gospel meeting in the area. It just so happens the night I was wanting to hear him speak was the same night that the northern lights were supposed to be visible. It was my hope that I would hear him speak and then be able to see the lights later on that night. On the way home from the church building, and to get from my house to the building, you have to go through some back roads out in the middle of the country. It was really dark, and no one else was on the road with me. So I would stop my car and turn off my lights and look up in the sky. I could see some faint colors, but nothing real definitive. So I kept going, and as I got closer to a main highway, I noticed that the colors were becoming more visible. I drove a few miles until I found a place I could safely stop and look at the sky. It was a gravel parking lot out in the middle of nowhere. I parked the car, got out, and looked up. The colors were more vivid now. I could actually make some patterns out in the sky. These were the northern lights. So I took my phone and changed the settings on the camera so I could get some exposure shots. I took several pictures. The colors were amazing. Bright pinks and that bright, brilliant green, the same brilliant green I remembered from so many years ago. I took several pictures and went home. It's a moment I'll never forget. A few days later, I got a notification that there would be a comet traveling in the western sky. The person sharing this information told us he wasn't sure if it would be visible with the naked eye. You might need binoculars or a telescope. But if it was visible, it would be right after sunset to the north of Venus. I thought it was worth a try, so I went out at sunset, found Venus, and looked to the north. I didn't see anything. I thought, oh well, it was worth a shot. I went back inside, but a few minutes later I got a notification from this same person. Someone had shared a photo she had just taken with her iPhone, and you could see the comet. I went back outside with my phone and the same settings I had used to capture the northern lights. I took a few pictures. There it was. I could see the comet. I couldn't see it with the naked eye, but my phone could capture it. I had that same amazement that I had with the northern lights, seeing something out in space traveling like it was. It was really, really cool. Why do I share these two stories with you? Sometimes when life has you rattled and you need to catch your breath, it's helpful to regulate yourself with the anchor of a pause. I had 2 pauses in less than a week. I paused to watch the northern lights, and I paused to watch this comet. I'm reminded of some verses from the book of Psalms. Psalm 19, verse 1 begins, "The heavens proclaim the glory of God. The skies display his craftsmanship. Day after day they continue to speak. Night after night they make him known. They speak without a sound or a word. Their voice is never heard, yet their message has gone throughout the earth, and their words to all the world. God has made a home in the heavens for the sun." Both of these times that I experienced these celestial events, it was so quiet. These events, the northern lights and this comet, they spoke without a sound or a word, but their message went throughout the world. There were so many people who caught images of the northern lights, and people in my area found the comet and took pictures of it. It was just so cool and yet so powerful, quiet and powerful. You think about the power of the sun that caused these images of the northern lights, and you think about the power of this comet that's hurling through space. Let's get to your daily doable and see how you can apply this in your life when you need to regulate yourself. When you become rattled and you need to catch your breath, I want to encourage you to use the anchor of a pause. Now, unless you live in Alaska or Canada or the upper United States, you probably won't see the northern lights on a regular basis. I consider myself very fortunate to have witnessed them like I did. But that doesn't mean you can't pause and enjoy a sunrise or a sunset. In Indiana, we have some of the best sunsets I've ever seen. When my wife moved here from New York, she was amazed at our sunsets. Or at night, on a clear night, to go out and just look at the stars. Remember, the heavens proclaim the glory of God. The skies display his craftsmanship. Day after day they continue to speak. Night after night they make him known. But they do so without speaking a word. So quiet, yet so powerful. Things like this have helped me to regulate myself with the anchor of a pause. That's all for this episode. I want to thank you for joining me. If you would like to see the images that I took of the northern lights and this comet, they're in our private community. I would like to invite you to become a member. This is a safe space for adoptive parents. You'll find other adoptive parents and supporters of adoptive parents here. You can be real and raw and get the support and encouragement you need. Please see the show notes for the link. Until next time, this is Tim encouraging you to do what you can now.